Hello, everybody. My name is Minseok. Cha is last name.
My name is Jaejun.
Yeah, I'm very honored to be a presentation here today at CodeBlue. We are a malware analyst from Korea. As a security researcher, my main focus is the security incidents that occurred in South Korea. Interestingly, some of the threat actors that attack Korea targets other countries as well, including Japan. The research into the threat correlation between Korea and Japan is what led me to stand here for the presentation today. First, let's have a look at the relationship between Korea and Japan. Korea and Japan is very close in distance. The distance from Seoul to Korea is about 1,000 kilometers, and it takes about 2 hours, maximum 3 hours by plane. The distance from Busan, which is the city at the southern coast of Korea, and Tsushima, which is the island of Japan, is less than 100 kilometers. The two countries are not only close in distance, but have similarities in language. The languages are structurally close regarding word order and share similar pronunciation of the word of Chinese origin. It sounds similar to the point that I feel like I can understand some Japanese, but you know, I really don't. But it is much easier for both countries to learn the languages of each other compared to learning of European languages, such as English. For Koreans and Japanese, English is a very difficult language. Now, let's have a brief look at the history of home computers in Korea. In Korea, the first boom for home computers started in 1983, when the government decided to introduce computer education. But at the time, computers were expensive and the cost was too high for the average income of Korean family. Most of the home computers sold by Korean companies were based on the computers from US and UK and Japan, or were clones. There were even some Japanese products made by companies like Sharp, who sold their product directly in Korea. However, by end of the 1980s, only Apple II and MSX and IBM PC clones are left in the market from 1980. The computers were unified into IBM PC clones models. But I understand that models such as NEC's PC9801 manufactured until 2000 in Japan. The first computer virus found in Korea was the brain virus. Korean programmers developed a program to detect and remove the virus. And one of them was vaccine. Now it's vaccine 3, also known as V3, which is antivirus program still being developed by AhnLab. My colleague also created an antivirus program during the high school. On a side note, the computer virus created in Korea was called the Damanegi. Yes, it's Tamanegi, a virus, which was made in 1990. Tamanegi means onion in Japanese, and this word was used commonly by my grandparents' generation in Korea. You can see the Tamanegi message. There is a fine difference between the IT environment in Korea and Japan, but there are also similarities such as having a word processing program for the countries or how the use of a domestic service is popular. However, it is also true that the two countries do not have much relevance to each other regarding security. And now that there is a reduction in worms with self-replicating features, security threats depend on the country, language, and culture. there is a difference between malware popular in Korea and Japan. There are the top 10 malwares distributed in Korea and Japan in the same period. And the list is based on AhnLab detection name. But the two countries have begun to have some security issues in common. One malware developer who had been stealing internet banking information in Korea since 2011 started attacking Japan in 2014. This was when I realized for the first time that the threat actors attacking Korea were also attacking targets in Japan as well. There have also been cases where malware creators in South America attacked banks in neighboring countries, and they found it relatively easy to access targets in those regions because they used Spanish. This malware developer was targeting two countries at the same time where the language and internet banking environment are different. And it was also interesting to find the Chinese word in the malware found in Korea, which were developed or steal internet banking information. Of course, we cannot blame any single country to be responsible, even once Korean criminals were suspected to be behind the attack. This is because there were actually cases where the Koreans were caught requesting a job to Chinese hacker. The damage caused by ransomware in Korea was relatively low until 2014, but everything changed since 2015. CryptoRocker, founded in 2015, supported the Korean language. It not only supported Korean, but distributed malware through well-known IT-related community websites in Korea. CryptoRocker also supported Japanese. It is common these days to have display of ransom note in various languages, but it was rare for malware to support any languages other than English back then. For APT attacks, we can see there are more examples of cases that involve the two countries. Some threat actors only operate in Korea or in Japan, but many of them target both countries. First, I would like to talk to you about the threat actors that are active in Korea. Many unknown entities have continued to attack Korea since 2008, and this is an overview of threat actors currently active. This is only for threat actors that attack targets and does not include those involved in online games, internet banking, and coin miners. Of course, there are other groups that have not been classified, and I am planning to add the groups here if there are more discovered. The other group is well known to be a subgroup of the Lazarus group and has been active only in Korea since 2008, even before the first report of the Lazarus group appeared in 2009. Its targets since 2008 include the Korean military, defense companies, and political organizations. But it added its private companies in 2016 in the interest of the finance gain. The second group, this group is called Lazarus or Hidden Cobra. I believe that this group called Hidden Cobra is also related to the Sony Pictures hack. This group mainly uses email as a method of infection and also uses the method of infiltration and hacking a web hosting company. It has used attacks which exploits various zero-day vulnerabilities. This group has also targets the government agencies, major companies, and ICT companies of Korea, and is currently targeting the financial sector and cryptocurrency exchanges. It is also target countries other than South Korea. Usually, these two groups together are called the Rogers group. However, I personally think that we need to separate them now because they have different targets and different attack methods and malwares. I will also continue studying the relationship and differences between these two groups. I talked about these groups at CARE workshop and virus bulletin conference this year. My slide can be found on the internet. We can see that some of the threat groups we touched upon today are attacking Japan as Korea. Icefog. Icefog was discovered by Kaspersky Lab in 2013. According to their report, the main attack targets are government agencies and the defense industry in Korea and Japan. Currently, this malware is not being reported in Korea. I was able to find additional variants that is not mentioned in the report from the sample reported by our client. These Icefog NG variants contain unique PDB information. Icefog NG variant supports command execution using cmd.exe, file upload and download, and the sleep feature. For Icefog NG variants, some C2 addresses are similar to the website address that are used in Korea. Very similar. In October 2017, AhnLab released a report on Operation Bitter Biscuit. Operation Bitter Biscuit is also known as Heartbeat APT and Operation Orca. This group has been active in Korea for around 10 years, since 2009. Although they are mainly targets military institutions and the defense industry, they also attack other industries such as ICT and manufacturing. This very threat group also hacked a heavy industry company in Japan in 2011. Their malwares include strings such as Bisonal, Biagi, and Biagi. The CNC server address and port numbers accessed by malware are usually encrypted. By decoding the encrypted strings, we can find the port numbers and the CNC address. A Japanese analyst at Palo Alto Networks uncovered a new attack of Bisonal this year. So when I arrived in Japan yesterday, I met him to express my gratitude and discussed about how we can collaborate in the future. It was all thanks to this blog that I was able to learn more about the group's additional attacks on their organization in Korea. Now, here are some changes on the malware. There were no encrypted string in the malware code discovered from 2011 to 2012. But CNC-related strings were encrypted in the malware codes discovered from 2013 to 2014. From 2015 to 2017, Dexpia was the most widely used malware, and patented Bisonal was also used. In this year, a new drop and backdoor was used. The Red Eyes group is also known as APT37, Kumsang 121, Group 123, Reaper, and Starcraft, and so on. Kumsang means Venus in Korean, the second planet of the solar system. This group mainly uses the attack method of sending an email that includes malware to each target. This group exploits the Hancom Hangul vulnerabilities and Adobe Flash Player vulnerability. And recently, attacks on Android smartphone apps have been discovered. The major attacks target of this group are Korean human rights activists and North Korean defectors. They even used documents related to the military for the attacks. According to FireEye, they also attacked Vietnam, Japan, and the Middle East. AhnLab has released a report on this group in spring this year. There is also an English version. However, read if you are interested. In 2014, malware was distributed to Japan through Korean software. The attack used the method of tampering with update files for infecting the targets, and similar infection method was used in Korea in 2011. Now, let's have a look at some of the major infection methods used in Korea. Threat actors use various infection vectors for the attacks. For spear phishing hack is mainly use macros and H2P. H2P is Korea's Hangul word processing program. They do exploit vulnerabilities in ActiveX, which is still widely used in South Korea, as well as vulnerabilities in IT management systems. Lastly, they carry out supply chain attacks, usually by tampering with installation or update files. The attack sends the execute file disguised as document files to attack the target. These spear phishing attacks are the most basic, but still a very useful method. The recipient of email would look at the icon and file extension and easily mistake it as a document file and open it. It said that this method was also used in large-scale hacking incidents in Japan. Another common method of attack is using a document file instead of an executable file. Document file attacks methods are carried out usually by including malicious code in the document file or modifying the document file to exploit vulnerabilities. But recently, there are cases of sending URL only instead of attachment. And there are also cases where the attack first sends a normal document file, and then only when the recipient opens and replies does the attack send another document that contains malware. Macros used attacks that have been on the rise in recent years. Here is an example of the macros attacks. When a recipient opens an attachment, the message enabled contents is displayed. However, this method has a low success rate because the recipient could already see the documents clearly, so the users were less inclined to enable macro. But in the 2017 attacks, the body of the document was not clear. Increasing the chances that the recipient enabled macros. Once the macro started running, the recipient sometimes would see a bogus error message. The attacks also like using the watering hole method. In this method, the attackers hack websites that their intended targets are likely to visit in advance and exploit a vulnerability of the website. In Korea, attackers mostly take advantage of the ActiveX vulnerabilities. ActiveX is still widely used in Korea. This script has made many ActiveX exploits, maybe 9 exploits. This attack is effective because there are many websites that still use the old version of ActiveX. This image shows the system configuration used commonly by companies and institutions in Korea. Normally, internal computers cannot be accessed from the outside due to the security policy. The IT management system communicates with each client to update the latest antivirus signatures and deploy security patches. Threat actors also target the update servers of software manufacturers or on internal update server of company that is connected externally. This way, the attacker gains control of the internal IT management system and impacted the whole connected system internally by using the file deploy features to distribute malware. If the IT management system cannot be attacked directly, it uses the security policy exception to find internet-connected system for infection. Then, in order to communicate with the IT management system and spread malware, it searches for the specific port of the system in the listening state to forge a file transmission command from the IT management system. Many IT management system programs are vulnerable, as they were mainly built around 10 years ago with much less concern about the security than today. This exploit involves sending a command to deploy vcpscan.exe to port 3511. To avoid suspicion, the malware file is disguised with a file name similar to AhnLab v3. It is very common for an attacker to name their malware files after well-known software files names in Korea. This exploit received a target IP, download URL, file path, and BB script path as a fact to send a file transmission command to port 7224 to create a script. The attack exploits the vulnerabilities in antivirus management. Recently, attacks using supply chains are increasing. The attack modifier utility installer by hacking into the manufacturer's website and replaces the original with the malicious file. For some attacks, Bisonal IP was checked to ensure that the malware impacts the real target only. The attacks installed malware by hacking the update server or analyze the update scheme. The most difficult attacks to detect is when a software development company is hacked. In this case, source files or build process are compromised, and eventually software contains malware is built and distributed. Companies or organizations that are already using a software may classify the software as trustworthy software. And even if a suspicious behavior is detected, it is likely to be overlooked. In some cases, maintenance companies are hacked and also used for attacks. Okay, case study. In the present day, I know there are about 500,000 Koreans living in Japan. Among these, there is organization Chongnyeon that was formed by Korean residents in Japan with close ties to North Korea. In South Korea, it is commonly called Jochongnyeon. Access to the Chongnyeon website is blocked in South Korea. So it was only through a news article that I found out about the security issue on the Chongnyeon web homepage. The article reported a hacking of their homepage and their distribution of malware beginning in April 2017. To get more information about the incident, I found a report published by Entity Security and used the machine translator to read it in Korean. The report included malware hash values and URL information. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Entity Security for publishing such a great report. ありがとうございます. This malware is a download. Interestingly enough, this malware was already corrected by AhnLab in February 2017, and the hacking of the Chongnyeon website occurred 2 months after the correction of malware. The fact that the hacking incident did not use the latest malware, but use the malware that was already used before was a little unusual. This is a backdoor code. The code is similar to download. In August 2017, the AhnLab Smart Defense System discovered the util.exe file for files that tried to connect it to the identical C2 server of this instance. The C2 server can be shared by different attackers, but the file name is likely created by same group, util.exe and util.exe. By the same group as the file name is identical to that of the one used by the malware in the attacks on the Chongyang website in April 2017. The util.exe file found in August 2017 was a download. That downloaded files, but the code was different to the download used for the Chongyang website attack. But the downloaded files could not be verified. From AhnLab's collection of samples, I found few malwares that were similar to the one distributed through the Chongyang website. These similar variants accessed Japanese website, but this IP address belongs to the cloud service provider, which shows that United States as the server host in some cases. So let's put the information together. In April 2017, Chongyang's website was hacked and malware was distributed. According to our records, the infection of this malware was reported in Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. On the same C2, the util.exe file was distributed in August 2017. And before this, in February 2017, malware similar to the download distributed from the Chongyang website was distributed from another North Korea-related website. This is what interested me. So far, all the websites that were hacked and distributed from another North Korea-related website. It seems like the attack targets those visiting the website, such as North Korean researchers and journalists. We also found additional malware that is very likely to be associated. This variant is disguised as a Realtek files. All file names are similar. Files made before July 2017 do not have anti-VM features, but files made from August 2017 have anti-VM features. It has an anti-VM function and cannot be run in analyst programs or on virtual environment. WinLogon.exe file has an injection function. Files are all disguised as Realtek audio-related files and have identical registration information. Files are registered as a service, and service name and displayed name are base64 encoded. Service name is also disguised as a Realtek audio-related service. These files have coded for virtual environment detection. The variants have the same code. The anti-VM code includes almost all anti-VM techniques it reveals on GitHub. You can find the source code and this URL. It checks every 5 minutes that the intended file is being executed by the author and downloads the file from outside and executes it. The path of the download file is encrypted. By decoding the path, you can see the file is created under the path, but the downloaded file could not be verified. As we have seen, the attacks on the website started in Japan, inflicted damage on target in Korea, and thus is related to Korea. Surely, this is not the only case. I believe that there are many more instances where the two countries are linked. As we discussed, security issues in Korea and Japan are related. We have now summarized important security issues in Korea. I hope the information about the present situation in Korea is useful for security research in Japan. Ransomware. Many countries are experiencing damage from ransomware attacks, and it is the same for South Korea. It seems malware developers are selling ransomware as a service, and distributors buy this service for distribution. Some ransomware are specifically targeting Korea. If ransomware only works on the Korean version of Windows or malware is downloaded through website, different files may be dropped when connected from Korean IP or foreign IPs. Ransomware developers have also launched attacks on AhnLab products that interfere with their purpose. There was a ransom attack on Korean web hosting service provider in June 2017. The attack infiltrated the internal system of the web hosting company and encrypted the file within the 153 servers using the Airbus Linux ransomware. This attack affects around 5,500 websites, and the service provider paid over $1 billion in ransom. In return, they received a recovery plan from the ransomware creator, but could not recover all their data. And in November, the new Linux ransomware hit two more service providers. In September this year, an unknown attack broke into the web developed company during the Chuseok. Chuseok is Korean Thanksgiving holidays, and encrypted all of its client data. The attack is also known to have used Linux ransomware. Threat actors use several techniques to bypass the security frames and users. At the time, mainly three techniques were used: creating big files, using a loader, and files. Big size is a method that generates a file of 15 megabytes or greater. When a file is too large, you can bypass the sandbox that does not inspect an active file. Some antivirus products do not request users to submit large unknown files due to the performance slowdown it causes. AhnLab has since increased the size of reference files, but attackers can simply increase the file size even more. Some malwares over 100 megabytes. There are two load methods. The malware is in the load itself, or it loads the actual malware data from outside. In the former situation, the malware is not generated into a file, but executed only in the memory. In the case, you can analyze the malware as long as you analyze the loader. In the auto-loaded method, the load reads encrypted files and executes in the memory. However, when an instance takes place and suspicious file was gathered during the investigating, generally only the executed files that works as the loader is gathered. Analysts may analyze the loader and request additional data files, but in many cases, those files would have already disappeared. Without the encrypted data file, you cannot understand the specific function. Fileless is malware does not exist as a file. However, there are very few malware that are completely fileless. In most cases, a file exists for the malware that cases as dropper. When a file is acts as a dropper is executed, the malware hides its core in the registry and learns in memory using JavaScript or PowerShell when the system boots. Okay, conclusion. So far, we have looked at threat actors aimed at Korea and Japan. Likely how the close distance between the two countries, they are our common targets for some threat actors. There are instances like the case study mentioned today, where the attacks in Japan affects Korea. Therefore, the security office and analysts in the two countries should pay attention to the security issues that are happening in Korea and Japan. How should we defend ourselves from the threat aimed at us? The answer is cooperation. We must share information about the major attacks, attack methods, malware used, sensing, and malware techniques in the both countries. AhnLab is going to share such information within our business circles in Japan. I hope we can work together on these issues and also form a close relationship between security industries and researchers of Korea and Japan. Thanks for your attention. I hope you all have a great time at CodeBlue and also have a wondering time networking with each other. It's my email address and it's my Twitter. If you have any questions, send me emails, and you can also connect at AhnLab Japan. Thank you very much.